when I first got a hold of Chris, and I told him I was trying to find the Bentley Trail, and I had found all of it, but I couldn't find it through the swamp. And but he and Matt Leff was a old blacksmith. He worked in a lot of the lumber camps around, and he and Chris came out with me, and they wallowed around in the swamp for days, crawling around, and Chris would go down to his elbow in the muck, and he'd come up with a spike. We're right in the middle of the Bentley Trail, he'd say. But we found it all the way across. Here's a piece of the Bentley Trail. He picked it out of the dirt there. And he worked and he worked and he worked. He wouldn't give up. Matt Leff was up here in the St. Mary's Hospital, and he kept wanting me to take him up in the woods. He couldn't even get out of bed. His excuse was I was supposed to cut his hair, but he couldn't even sit up. And I said to Matt, I can't take you up there. You're going to die. He wants to die up there. He didn't want to die in the hospital. Well, after he got a little better, I did take him up. That was a terrible mistake. My camp wasn't finished. We had a stairway, a ladder out of some maple saplings, and it creaked, and we had to get behind him and get him up to go to bed. And he got to bed up there, and it was a Friday night. Or no, it was a Sunday night, and I said, I got to go home now, and I can't leave you here alone. I got to take you home with me. And, oh, you weren't going to come. I can't get down the stairs. And I said, well, what am I going to do? What if you die? That's what I want to do, he said. And I said, well, I went across. It was hunting season. I went across the road to some fellows that had a hunting camp there, and I said, there's a fellow in my camp, and he won't come down with me, and I got to go to work tomorrow morning, but I'll come up tomorrow evening and get him, but somebody got to check on him. He's in a real bad way. Well, we aren't going over. We don't even know where it is. Well, it's just, well, we're busy. We're this and that. And I said, well, I'll get another outfit. So I went down about 3 miles, and there was another camp down there, people from Detroit. I told them that, no, they didn't know. They didn't want to go into anybody's camp. They were going to be afraid of this and that and everything. So I went into Big Bay, and I saw Fred Marsh, the marshal there, and I told him, he said, well, I'm here alone. I can't go up there, and I don't even know where it is, and you got to go to the sheriff's office. So I called Al Jacobson, and I said, geez, I got the guy up in the woods, and I'm trying to get somebody to go and check on him during the night. He said, geez, I got 3 men here. I can't go up there. Call the state police. They got 28 men down there stumbling over each other. So I called Van Lanigan down there, and I said, well, did you call the sheriff? I said, well, we don't know where that is. That's how we don't even know the road's up there. And I said, well, that's in Section 4. You can't miss. There's only one road. Well, I didn't know what to do, but Billy Ryan and I went up there after school. It was deathly silence, and I thought, he's gone. I said, Matt. He said, what? I said, geez, I thought you were dead. Well, I might as well be. He said they were coming in here, hunters and upstate police. All night long, they're in and out of here, he says. I didn't get a wink of sleep all night.